Hello, welcome back. Can you believe it's August already? Where has the growing season gone? Where's the year gone, in fact? So, because we're into August now, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of harvesting in this one. And we're starting off with these second early potatoes, the Charlottes. Because of the length of time these potato tubs have been planted, I'm expecting the crop to be a bit on the big side size-wise. Usually I like these Charlottes, salad potatoes, but we'll see what we got anyway. I think I'm going to do at least one, maybe two tubs. Here in the West Midlands, the last few days, we've had quite a lot of rain. So this soil is all wet and sticky. Not to worry though. Got plans for this. I've got some more potatoes to actually plant in a day or two. The second cropping ready for Christmas hopefully. But the other thing I do, I want to use some of these buckets, the soil out of here, to top the soil up in the borders in the back garden after I've manured them. Right, just take this straw off the top. You can see a potato already. Pop that in there. Turn it up. Let's have a look what we got. Oops, benched out. Quickly show you. That there's not a bad crop as far as I'm concerned, but do bear in mind that is from 4 tubers in a 30 litre tub. Right, I'll just give them a little wash. This is what we got after we've put them under the tap, give them a little swill. There is scab on there, which I'm surprised at, but not to worry, they'll scrape off. And that's more than enough to keep us going for today. Next job for me today is to harvest broccoli or Calabrese. As you can see, there's 1 or 2 heads more than ready for lifting. So I'll undo the cage and get inside. Well, I'm more than happy with this crop of Ironman broccoli. You can see some decent sized heads on these. There's probably about another 5, 6 left in there. Not quite as big, maybe as big as that or a little bit smaller. But I'll leave them for another week and crop them next weekend hopefully. While the Brassica cage was open, I decided to harvest a golden acre cabbage. I didn't realise I'd pressed the wrong button on the camera and it went into time-lapse mode. Never mind, here's a photo of what I actually got. It's not all a brilliant success story on the harvest front. This bed here, this time last week, had 2 gorgeous rows of peas in, just ready for harvesting. Because we had the rain in the week, I thought I'd defer that and harvest them this weekend. When I come to harvest them yesterday, looked at the peas and there's hardly any peas left. Now bear in mind these was completely netted. So I fetched the net off, had a look underneath, and right along the bottom there was rows of empty pods. Obviously vermin had got in. Now earlier during the re-year, one of the plot holders down the other end had a similar thing happen to his, and they'd assumed that somebody had stolen the crop off the plant. But I went up and had a word with him, told him what had happened to me, and when we looked beneath the crop next to where the peas were, exactly the same. The pea shells were right underneath. Never mind, I did manage to get a good crop off the first 2 rows, so always next year. If I was asked to choose my favourite vegetable to eat, it'd certainly be a difficult one, that would. Depends on the time of year, I suppose. Brussels sprouts would definitely be in it because, to me, that's the taste of Christmas. And closely followed by Calabrese or broccoli. But I think just pipping both of those would be the runner bean. Now to me, I could eat a plate full of just these on their own. I actually adore them. This is probably one of the best crops of beans I've had for a long while. Obviously moving the location to the beans where they are now has done them really good. Hopefully when I've built the new bean bed, restructured the soil, they'll give me another return like this. On the left we've got the long straight runner bean called Benchmaster, and on the right is a mixture of the Cobra and Blue Lake. Another little job I have to do here, I've got 2 trays of plants, there's 18 pots in each, and the plan is to take some strawberry runners to replenish my stock plants in the bed, because this year, in the 4th year, they didn't return too much. Like most tasks in gardening, there's more than one way of doing the job, and producing new plants from strawberry runners no exception. A lot of people will actually get the runner and produce another pot at the side and peg the cutting down, get a chance to do it, then chop the cord off. No problem with that. But for me personally, what I do, I just grab a bunch of runners like this, pick one of the plants, chop what I call the umbilical off. So I'm just left with a little plant like that, and I come down to the pot, just bodge a hole in, put my finger in, put the plant in, sink the root right in, and go down like that. That's the first tray completed. I've just watered them in lightly, give them a dry now, and I'll put these in the coal frame and just let them look after themselves ticking over. Just harvesting the beetroot now. I've picked the bigger bulbs already. I'll just pop a little picture in the corner to show you. These are the smaller ones, and we'll probably, rather than dice and slice these, we'll do these as one. This variety is called Bolt Hardy. This is all the beetroot took out of the bed now. What I'll do is give that a little tidy up, put a bit of food on the top, and that's where I'm going to be planting out the overwintering brassicas. So that's the bed all weeded. It's a light top dressing with lime and lightly raked it in. What I'll do now is do the gardener's shuffle on the top and then start planting the brassicas. Planting is exactly the same as normal, and I'll put a little card in the top corner, it'll fly out and show you in more detail how I plant mine. All planted, there's 16 plants in altogether, and 3 varieties. On this end row here, this was a cabbage called Tundra that did very well for me last year. produce some nice cabbages during the hungry months. And in the centre here I've got 2 rows of cauliflower, and they're called Triumphant. I'm bringing up this end here 4 plants of the cabbage January King, a popular one with mouse gardeners. So that's, say, the 16 plants in. I will put a net over the top before our pigeon squadron locate and attack. Well, I was searching around for some net. I had a little bonus find. I've got a tray here of ramrod onions that had been in the tray. There was actually sun the first week of May, and they survived. I can't remember watering them at all. Anyway, I found a little space, popped a row down the middle. There's 10 plants altogether. So that's the thing netted up now. Keep the pigeons and butterflies off. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to finish this one off by planting some second cropping potatoes. I also see these advertised as Christmas potatoes. Any second, first earlies will do. In this case I'm using Charlotte. Mine not looking too good at the moment. I did put them under the bench for chitting, but left them there, and that's the result you get of not enough light. You can see the chits have gone white, but they'll darken up. I'll be very careful when I put them in, and we should be okay. I get quite a lot of questions on my channel regarding growing potatoes in containers and buckets about the cost of the compost. This compost here is a bagged compost that I've used from previous potato growers, and in general I tend to use it at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, and once that's over then it goes as a top dressing. But in between the uses, as I get it ready for a second batch, I do spruce it up, add a bit of additives. Most people use something like blood, fish and bone, or in my case I tend to use this stuff called Growmore. If you're familiar with Growmore, it's known as a balanced fertiliser, where it's got 777. Now that's the NPK. Now with the NPK you get the nitrogen, phosphates and potassium. Now compost at the moment is going through a rough ride, the manufacturers, because there's obviously a 10 now to phase the peat based out. In fact there's a law going through, I think, for general use anyway. I'm not sure what's happening regarding the commercial side. So I tend to add this stuff here, it's called Growmore, mix it in. And as I said before, this is a 777. It's an interesting article I was reading on the RHS website regarding NPK values, and they'll actually put 2 values against the letter sometimes, because the nitrogen, phosphates and potassium on their own are what they call elements, but as soon as you mix that with something else it becomes a compound. So the first letter shows the value of, say, nitrogen and all its compounds, what is included in the mix. So the true value, as I say, is shown in brackets. With this Growmore I've put in here, it's actually shown as 777. So people think that's 7% nitrogen, 7% phosphates and 7% potassium, but that's not the case. In its true form it's 7% nitrogen, so it's a high nitrogen feed, but the potassium is 7.8 and the phosphates are 3.1. So it's not at all as it appears, but for me, this being a fairly high nitrogen slow release feed will do me for this potato. So I'm going to carry on planting these now. I'm not going to bother showing you, you've seen it all before. If you haven't, I'll put a little flyer out in the corner where you can see me putting my potatoes in containers for the start of the year. So many thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe all, and bye for now.